Greetings, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Sudds-R-Us podcast, hosted by Irene
Greetings.
and Ben Sudderth Jr.
We are live and in living color from Hickory, North Carolina, y'all. This is home base for us. This is exciting. We are glad to be home.
Yes, and we thank God for another opportunity where we're able to come before you and bring you thought-provoking, mind-percolating, creative content every single week around the concepts of the circle of love, where we focus on God, marriage, family, and life. Where we're still focusing on family, focus on the family.
Mhm.
But today our topic is Panther Pride. Panther
Yes.
Pride. Now, what is Panther Pride?
Mm.
Today, we're so excited to share with you a story that wasn't published for over 50 years after the actual event took place.
Wow.
A sporting event that was record-breaking and still holds that record today.
Mhm. That's right. Earlier today, y'all, we attended the unveiling of the 1964 Ridgeview Panthers, and they're also known as the Untouchables. If you have never heard of the Untouchables, you need to Google and check out the video, the documentary on this football team. Now, they won the state 2A championship. I don't know if you can see that on our shirts. The Untouchables state 2A championships. They were undefeated and unscored on. Can you believe that? Undefeated and unscored on, and they hold that record today. This was an exciting event. I mean, I did not attend Ridgeview High School, but I was just elated to be a part of this historical event today. There were 9 players, I do believe, that were present today, and they received a proclamation as well as a key to the great city of Hickory, North Carolina.
So today we celebrated the
Mm.
students, the athletes, the band members, the glee
Mm.
club, teachers, and
Right.
coaches.
Mm.
Coaches like our godfather, Samuel Jap Davis,
Right.
who the field and the multipurpose complex,
Mhm.
was named after. And during his coaching tenure, Ridgeview won a continuous string of 74 regular season games. And another record the school holds in the North Carolina High School Athletic Association record books. The event was hosted today by United Arts Council of Catawba County, and the unveiling of the beautiful 2 murals
Mm.
that were designed by Athela McCarthy. The archway leading to the field reads Home of the Ridgeview High School Panthers and the
Yes.
1964 Untouchables. This story is a prime example of the unity and the success in our hometown of Hickory, North Carolina during the segregated South.
Mm.
This was the biggest and baddest black high school in the county.
Mhm.
So people would move to Hickory, not only to work in the furniture and hosiery and also the tape mills, but also for their children to go to Ridgeview.
Right.
The school was so successful because of the support from the community, the camaraderie, and the competition between the young men, and the dedication, the discipline, and determination from the students and the coaches.
Mm.
Irene and I had cousins that played on that untouchable football team.
That's right.
One is her cousin, John Thompson, who went on to play pro football in the NFL with the Minnesota Vikings.
Mhm.
And my cousin was Jennifer Jobo Lutz, who was a starting lineman who also played offense and defense, along with Doug Baumgartner, who was a star running back for that team, who scored over 21 touchdowns. And they both attended Winston-Salem State, which is a very prominent HBCU.
Yes. So we were granted the opportunity, the privilege. wow, the blessing to be able to interview some of the untouchables. And so we do have queued up for you today about 4 videos. There are 2 of the untouchables that were interviewed. And then there's a good friend of ours that also attended Ridgeview High School. And then there is one of the students of the class of 1964 that was somewhat apart, but you got to hear his interview. His interview was very interesting. So here we go with interview number 1. And this is James Hurd. He is one of the untouchables, and he is from the class of 1966. Listen
First
up.
question would be, how does it feel to be a part of history that has been delayed recognition affect your excitement? So how has the delay of this whole celebration affected your excitement?
Well, really, I didn't think, we would get any recognition, so really I had, forget it, really.
Okay.
Well, I didn't forget, the things that we've done, but, I didn't think of it anymore.
Okay.
Because it had been so long. You take over 50-something years and nobody did anything.
Right.
So it didn't register.
Okay.
So I thought it was just a thing that was on.
Okay. Now, after you accomplished it, did you think it was going to be as much of it, as far as the accomplishment was going to be as great as it's predicted now, or do you just guys just play ball and just thought it was something you normally do was win and you just won a championship?
Well, we just played then, and we weren't really expecting anything, because that was something that we just like to do, being at Ridgeview, and it was exciting.
How y'all doing?
Good.
That was a thing.
They want us back up here at the mirror.
Oh, okay.
I got 2 more questions. I'll be done.
Okay.
Okay. Now, so how did growing up in Hickory affect your outlook on life?
Well, now, the thing about this, I run around, guys, did a little bit of everything. But you got to realize that you don't want to do these things, and they respected me.
Okay.
And I got along good with everybody, people that didn't do good, I still got along good with them, I try to always remain the same, and talk, I talk to some of the guys and stuff, and so I didn't have any negative feedback or anything because we all got along good.
Okay.
And then back then, if you had a little beef, you'd take care of it, and that was it. It wasn't hurting each other like
Right.
young kids are doing today.
Right.
So,
Okay. Great, fantastic. Now, so that's some of the positive aspects of going to a segregated school. Any negative aspects of going to a segregated school?
well, I didn't go to it because the year I graduated was in '66, and that was the year they integrated.
Okay.
So I didn't get a chance to do it. But growing up, I always was around kids because white kids used to come to our house and stuff. We got along good.
Okay.
And we stayed about 15 miles out of Hickory, and I realized I didn't realize much prejudice until we moved to Hickory. Things you couldn't do because you couldn't go in was it JC?
J.C. Penney, yeah.
And you had a white and you had a black family. But
Right.
I hadn't really got into that. I had heard things about it, but being that young, it didn't faze me or anything, I didn't think that much about it.
Okay. So you think maybe you were sheltered from the
No, I
racism in that outside of your community? Or?
I wouldn't say I was sheltered, but we all just got along good.
Okay.
Because my father did sharecropping and stuff, and so everybody worked together. And well, I'm gonna cut it off here because they were
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. So that was the first one. I forgot to give you just a little bit of detail. As you can hear in the background, it was really a reunion. People flew in from all over the country to, make this event a part of their lives. And so people are reconnecting, and we were right in the midst of it all. We were trying to, get off to the side and make it more. This was impromptu. This was raw. This was just the way it was. So, pardon all of the back conversation. People didn't see me video and they walking in front, people greeting us as we were videoing. Nevertheless, we hope that you're able to hear and to grasp some of this history. Yes. So to cue up the next one, this is Anthony Parks. He also was one of the untouchables. If I'm not mistaken, he played for 2 years. You'll hear whether if he was a freshman or a sophomore on the team. This team was bad, y'all. Here he is, Anthony
So
Parks.
how did growing up in Hickory affect your outlook on life? Growing up in Hickory, how did it affect your outlook on life?
Well, I tell you, my growing up, I didn't, I grew up in East Hickory.
Okay.
And, basically relegated to that part of town. That's all I knew. We in East Hickory, all we did, small community.
Okay.
And we love sports.
Okay.
On the ball field, we just got to play football, softball, basketball, everything. We were out there. As we came to Ridgeview, coming over here, it was a larger school, there were more people, and he started opening up to society more, and then from there I went on to Hickory High, and as I look back, I just love this city, and my growing up and the greatness of the people around.
Okay. So you said you went to Hickory High, so that means you graduated from Hickory High, or did you graduate from Ridgeview?
I graduated from Hickory High.
Hickory High. So what's the difference now as far as the integration and segregation? What's the positive and the negatives that you witnessed going to all black school and then going to integrated school?
You know what? Some people had problems. Me, fortunately, I didn't. It was good over there.
Okay.
I went over and I was treated well. I never had no problems. I thought I was treated rather fairly. And Coach Barger was my football coach, great coach. And he treated me fairly. And we went over there and we brought some of the same spirit at Hickory High that come from Ridgeview. As you know, we went over there and we turned that school into a state championship the first year over there.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And so my whole 4 years of high school football, only lost 2 games.
Wow.
Went to the playoff every game, lost 2 games. Those were in the state playoffs. Those 2 games. Other than that, we won 2 state championships. One in Ridgeview my sophomore year, and my senior year at Hickory High. So so we, me and all the guys that come from Ridgeview, we came over with that same tenacity and attitude, and just turn that team around.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah. So that was Anthony Parks, as we mentioned, another of the untouchables. Did you want to say something about that?
Well, I'm just going to say he grew up in East Hickory where you grew up.
Yes, he did. It was so hard, y'all, to tell who was who. One lady said she saw my eyes and she knew it was me. So that was interesting because, you got these masks on and you can't really see people as they really are. So again, it was like a reunion. So this is our road dog. This is our friend. Always connected to Benji and Irene. As I told you, that's just a household name in Hickory. So he was our road dog. He was always with us. Oftentimes he chauffeured us. This is Alfred Bubba, we call him, Wright.
So this is my good friend from, we went to Hickory High together. College Park, grew down the street with one another, raised with one another. So this is our podcast, Sudds-R-Us podcast. And we give concepts on the circle of love, and we focus on God, marriage, family, and life. Now that we're celebrating the untouchables, here at Ridgeview, it's not going to be a question regarding the high school team or regarding the untouchables. It's mainly regarding your experience and your life in this community. So, as a resident of this community, what are some positives and negative things that you have experienced from attending a segregated school and from attending an integrated school?
Well, the integrated school gave you more of an educational structure background, and the segregated school gave you racism.
Okay. Now, integrated, that's when you combine both races.
Okay, integrated.
Segregated.
Okay,
I think you got it.
Yeah, I got it backwards.
You got it backwards. Okay.
Okay, segregated gave you a better structure.
Okay.
You know, for as education, they wanted you to be a good student, not a good student, but a great student.
Okay.
Integrated gave you racism.
Okay.
Try to hold you back in every step of the way.
So there's no positives as far as integration that you can see when you compare it to segregated.
Not in my high school like that.
Did you graduate?
Oh yes, I graduated and went on to college.
Okay.
As you know, we went to college, same college.
Same college together.
But I'm just saying,
Right.
it wasn't because of them. It was just because I went 1 year over here.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. All right.
And I figured out how to do it.
Okay. Now, why do you think such great athletes came out of here? I'm gonna give you some multiple choice. You think it was the culture? You think it was the industrial community? Drew a lot of people to Hickory because of the different manufacturing companies that were available, people worked? Or do you think it was something that was just divine, something that God had planned and happened for people?
Since I had so many cousins, since I had so many cousins that were great at Ridgeview, I'm gonna say culture.
Okay. So you think it was something that was practiced because of the culture? We always drive to be excellent. That means we play football and basketball every day, all day, ran track. So you think it's because the way we were raised, growing up in that athletic culture, more so than anything else?
I'm gonna say, in my time, we didn't have a whole lot of other things to do.
Okay. Okay.
So we concentrated on playing athletics.
Okay. Now, as far as Ridgeview High and their success, what did you contribute to? Coaching? Genetics, meaning that culture was embedded because genetics, or do you think it was a spiritual, divine? Genetics, okay. Elaborate why you think it's genetics.
Because I played under the coach. I played junior high under the coach. I don't think he know what he was doing. As a matter of fact, I know he was doing.
Okay.
So I don't. Well, you know, they had some other coaches, but you know, the fielder's name after Mr. Davis.
Right. Okay.
You can ask my cousin about that.
No, I'm asking you about it. I'm asking you about it. Give us your honest opinion.
I don't think he was the coach, unless you know the other people up under him was still in coach. I never played for them.
Okay.
But I played for Mr. Brown in basketball. You know.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, he still about basketball. But Johnny Scott was I learned everything from Johnny Scott.
Okay. And that's at the community center.
From 6th grade on.
How you doing? All right.
Yeah, from 6th grade on.
6th grade on. Okay. So do you think
I learned more in the 6th grade than I learned all through junior high and high school.
Okay. So last question. How important you think was the community center activity that we played in daily how did that contribute to our athletic ability when it came to going to junior high school and high school?
Very important. Okay. Very important. Because I think it's the same way with the academics. Because in the academics, you was competing against, you know, someone who looked like you.
Okay.
So, you know, you work harder. Okay. You know, because I went to, you know, white schools, you know, and then the teachers, you know, they made it competitive between the students.
Okay.
And the same thing in the rec.
Okay.
Between each other, you know,
Okay.
I want to be better than him, and you want to
Right.
be better than the other guy.
Right. So it was no fun and games in the rec. We played some serious ball.
Oh, yeah.
Very competitive.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And taught each other. The older ones taught the younger ones.
Okay.
And
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a game of learning intelligence for the game.
Okay. And that's part of the culture where
IQ,
you bring up
the IQ of the game. Yeah.
okay, the IQ, and you learn from the older
And the
men, older
yeah.
young men, and they didn't have any problem sharing the skills.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate your honest opinion.
Yo, come on, we gotta take a picture. We gotta take a picture.
All right.
All right, y'all. So we got one more. I know that was kind of like hard to hear, but we have one more. This is Mac Rowland. Now his brother, I just remembered this. His brother was the drum major for the band. Now I've seen some good drum majors, Morehouse in particular. They got some high steppers, but they have not seen anything like Mr. J.P. Rowland. I'm telling y'all, you got to tell him what he used to roll up in the
ambulance.
In the ambulance, you know how the old folks say ambulance.
Ambulance.
And he would come out of that bad boy and step high. Okay, and so this is his brother, I do believe, Mac Rowland. He is the class of 1964. Before we cue that up, though, we want to welcome our guests and say thank you for tuning in. Mama Joe, thank you. Brian D. Williams, as always, we appreciate your support, young man. And our son, Mr. Podfather, they call him now. All right now, not podcaster himself, but Podfather. I love it. Ben Sudderth III. So again, this is our last and final video, Mac Rowland.
Incidents?
I got a bad bag.
Or was this
Where's
determined by something that was required, that we had certain colors, and that your mascot was Panthers? This is a hard question. Now we got Carolina Panthers, we got the Black Panthers, which is the civil rights activist group, okay? And then we have the superhero, the African Black Panther. Then we have the Review Panther. Now, for your own opinion, you think it was a coincidence, or do you think Review Panthers was the starting point and people pulled from that excellent experience that was through Review?
I say it's pretty much that you couldn't hit it right, the nail right on the head, because see, the thing is, Panthers had a winning attitude, and everybody wanted to be a winner. So everybody playing. I think that's why the Carolina Panthers there. Right. I think that's why the Black Panthers there. They are successful mascots. And plus the school is successful.
Right.
That's why I say it could be coincidental, but it comes from a higher power. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think all of it is, if they look into it, they'll come right back here to what Ridgeview Panther, because it's long-standing school.
Right.
Excellence all the time.
All the time. Okay. Good job. Okay, so that follow-up question to that is, do you think...
If y'all don't move your chair, they're going to put some tables over here in the shade.
Okay.
Put some tables over here in the shade. Get some come out already done past.
Okay. So what would you contribute for Review High's success to? Would you contribute it to coaching, genetics, or spirituality?
Well,
something spiritual.
I say a combination of coaching and genetics.
Okay.
See, because that class that went undefeated, the class of '65. I taught all them boys how to play.
Okay.
I graduated in '64.
Okay.
That's why I say it's a historical mistake for them to say 64.
Okay.
A historical mistake for them to say 64 because that really was the class of '65.
A real class 65. Okay.
Yeah, because in the near future, when they say, well, the Untouchable in 1964, they're going to think it was my class, but it wasn't.
Okay. So okay.
Listen, the season was over in '64, like November, December, but they didn't graduate to '65.
Right.
So they ain't gonna get credit in the future.
Okay.
They're gonna give me credit. Yeah, and you know, I mean, I taught all them guys. You ask any one of them who Matt Rowland is, they'll tell you he showed me this, showed me that.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, historically,
Okay.
it's gonna be a mistake.
Okay. Last question. Why do you think so many great athletes came out of Hickory? Was it culture? Was it because of the industry? A lot of people moved here because of the industry, of the manufacturing industry, or do you think it was divine purpose?
Well, the thing is, athleticism is embedded in Hickory.
Okay.
You take like all of those guys who was on that Untouchable team, they had siblings before them.
Okay.
And it was like any thing they want to do better. They want to do better. You know, like in my case, I was the only one in my family that played sports.
Okay.
You see, I played them all. I dominated in every sport because I was a sports enthusiast.
Okay.
Taught Birch how to play, taught Bumgun how to play,
Okay.
taught Cunningham how to play because we just was sports fit. We wanted to fit in as athletes.
Okay.
And then, like I said, it could be divine because everybody's pretty straight. Everybody's Christian sort of in their area.
Okay.
And pretty well different.
Okay.
Yeah, but I feel like, you know, this is, I dominated in everything I played in.
All right. Football, basketball, track.
Didn't have track.
Didn't have track.
This is how we determine how fast we were. Ozzie Clay went to the pros and made Washington Redskins, and he ran 110 flat.
Okay.
He come home and we had 2 or 3 guys that I ran.
Wow.
Donald, Allen, Burks.
They were all fast.
All of them.
But why did all the fast people come out of East Hickory?
I don't know, maybe because they had to walk to school there. I don't know. That's the truth.
They had to walk further to get to school.
That's right. And then, like you say, and then most of the big linemen was from
this side of town. Right.
Yeah, it sure was. And that's what, you know, I was trying to get a correct history because I don't want the credit for that year, even though I should have the credit.
Okay.
You know, because the only person that was changed on that football team, Brock, Ed Rogers, and myself was the co-captains, and we the only one left.
Okay.
And they filled in with whatever they filled in with, and nobody never scored on them. I still don't believe it.
Wow. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Thank you for being on the podcast.
All right.
Okay.
Good luck.
All right, y'all. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed that. But you guys would not believe, one last point, you guys would not believe these football players, the shape that they were in. And some of them are 70 and, you know, pushing 80. They are in excellent shape. It was just unbelievable. Unbelievable not. I mean, that's just a blessing. That's a blessing. They're still conditioned even to this day.
All right. So we hope you enjoyed those interviews. We had a variety of perspectives and opinions, and that's what we wanted to bring it to you uncut and raw. And we brought it to you raw, and we just thank God for all of our former current podcaster family under the BS3 radio. They encouraged us to go outside of our comfort zone. And that's where we were today, outside of our comfort zone, because we mentioned as, former pastor and first lady, we always prepared and organized and have manuscripts. But today we just shot from the hip, as I like to say.
That's right.
We shot from the hip, and we just were excited about what we was able to look at and what we was able to receive for as comments and also for as commentary. And just opinions. So everybody's opinion is not the same. And even though we're from the same neighborhood, from the same community, you have different opinions about integration and segregation.
Right.
And we wanted to get those opinions today. So hopefully you enjoyed it, as well as enjoying the celebration with the Riverview High School Panthers. Great celebration. Okay, so now we know, as we always do, we close out with scripture. So we're going to close out with a word of scripture. I think we didn't give you our information, so we're going to put it on the screen right now and let you know where you can find us. And we're still available in those areas. We always want to shout out our son and let you know where you can also reach him as well. But we're going to close out today with a scripture that's fitting, considering what we just witnessed and what we're celebrating. And that's from Colossians chapter 3, verses 23 through 24. Colossians chapter 3, verses 23 through 24. And it reads, "And whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men,
Right.
knowing that from the Lord you will receive the reward of the inheritance. For you serve the Lord Christ." So we want to thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.
Did you have any other closing remarks?
No, except for this is going to be an exciting weekend. Not only did we attend this historical event today, that's just going down in history, that's finally being recognized. We're also attending in our county, it's called Catawba County, and they're recognizing prominent people from the community, whether if they are living here or have moved away and have really made an impact on society and life. And so they're honoring my brother on tonight, Clinton Killian, the attorney, tomorrow night. Oh my gosh, when you retire, you really don't be tripping on the days, I'm telling y'all. Tomorrow night. And so we get a chance to be a part of that, again, historical event. So it's a wonderful weekend. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend. Be safe, y'all. Mask up, I highly recommend the vaccine if you haven't gotten it. These variants are coming, as fast as they can come, these mutants, these imps. So, be safe out there. Be safe.
Yes, please do. Now, we normally close out with our daughter's song, but we got a treat for you today. We're going to close out with the high school song from Ridgeview High School. You notice we didn't sing. We didn't go to Ridgeview High, so unfortunately we didn't know that school song. But we thank God again. We also want to thank another one of our homeboys, Nerai Clark, says, awesome. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed and safe holiday weekend.
Yes.